They told you that you're free, that your choices are your own, that you are the master of your destiny, and that no one, no God, no fate, no destiny, has the right to dictate your path. But what if I told you that this freedom has a cost you've been paying, not with money, not with time, but with your soul? Free will, the idea that you can choose between right and wrong, between stillness and motion, between love and hate. It sounds empowering, even divine. But ancient philosophers, from the mountains of Greece to the deserts of India, had a different view. They saw free will not as liberation, but as a burden we begged for, and now we carry it every day. Let's go back, before the noise, before the choices, before the chaos of modern life. Picture a garden, a human being with nothing but harmony, no temptation, no disobedience, no pain of regret. That story, whether you believe it or not, is not just religious allegory, it's a metaphor of the moment we stepped out of divine order and into the wilderness of choice. Prometheus in Greek mythology gave fire to man, a symbol of knowledge, of power, but for that gift humanity lost innocence. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," and yet, to examine your life is to suffer through every choice, every contradiction, every failure. That's the cost of consciousness. That's the cost of free will. Have you ever noticed, the more freedom we get, the more confused we become? The more options we have, the more lost we feel. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it." And yet, free will gives rise to desire, and desire, it's a hunger that never ends. We choose, and then we wonder, we act, and then we doubt, we speak, and then we regret. What does that tell us? That perhaps freedom is not peace, freedom is responsibility. Responsibility for every ripple our choices make in the ocean of life. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna stands on a battlefield, not just of war, but of the self. He's paralyzed, torn between duty and despair. Krishna tells him, "You have the right to your actions, but not to the fruits of your actions." Free will is action, but not control. You see, freedom is not about control. It's not about bending the world to our will. It's about accepting that we act in a world we do not fully understand. The modern mind believes, if I'm free, I can become anything. But the ancient mind asks, if I can become anything, what should I become? The tragedy of free will is not that we are forced to choose. It's that we don't know what to choose for. We are told, follow your passion, make your own path, but what if your passion betrays you? What if your choices don't lead to joy, but to ruin? Nietzsche warned us, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But what if you lose your why? What if free will lets you rewrite your purpose so often that your identity crumbles? And here's where it gets darker. Free will introduces the concept of guilt. Without it, there's only instinct. With it, there's the weight of "I should have known better. I should have done otherwise." Free will created morality, and morality created suffering. Ancient Buddhists spoke of dukkha, the inherent suffering of existence. They didn't say suffering comes from external pain. They said it comes from attachment, from craving, from the illusion that we can shape the world to our desire, from the illusion of absolute free will. So what's the alternative? Are we just puppets, trapped in fate? No, ancient wisdom never denied agency. But it taught something we've forgotten. Agency must be grounded in wisdom. Lao Tzu said, "A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent on arriving." He wasn't rejecting free will. He was rejecting obsession with control. He was inviting us to flow with the Tao, the way, instead of resisting it. Modern man tries to force meaning into life. The ancients tried to uncover the meaning already there. Today, we're drowning in choices. Infinite scrolling, infinite paths, infinite freedom. But when everything is possible, nothing feels real. That is the paradox of free will. and perhaps its deepest cost is isolation. If you are entirely responsible for your life, then your suffering is your fault, your failure is your fault, and your despair, well, that's just the result of your own bad choices. But is that true? Can anyone live purely self-made? The Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher, wrote, "You are a soul carrying a corpse." He reminded himself daily that much was outside his control. But still, he chose to be virtuous. That was his will. That was his freedom, wisely used. So what then is the real cost of free will? It's not just doubt. It's not just guilt. It's not just suffering. It's separation from nature, from tradition, from community, from the divine. Free will gave us independence, and in doing so, it took away our belonging. We no longer ask, what is my role in the cosmos? We ask, what do I want today? And when we get it, we're still not whole, because we were never meant to navigate life alone. The great philosophers, Plato, Confucius, Buddha, didn't speak of isolated men. They spoke of men in harmony, harmony with virtue, harmony with the state, harmony with the universe. That harmony is what we lost, but we can reclaim it, not by rejecting free will, but by anchoring it. Anchor it in values, in discipline, in love. Sartre said, "Man is condemned to be free." But I ask you, what if freedom is not a curse, but a call to rise, to use the gift, not to serve the self, but to serve something greater? The ancient philosophers knew this. They knew that real freedom isn't about doing what you want. It's about choosing what's right, even when it hurts, even when it costs everything. That is the real meaning of free will. It is not light, it is not easy, it is not free, but it is sacred. So before you celebrate your freedom, ask yourself, what did you trade for it, and what will you do now that you have it? Because the cost is real, but so is the reward if you dare to pay it.